qualitative awareness, using this simple technique of asking yourself how you feel about something 0 to 10 over and over and over again until you begin to see the insights that keep producing the numbers. That is what qualitative awareness is. And today, I'm going to explain it to you through my lens in a much more deeper manner so that hopefully it makes sense to you and you know the power and begin to apply it in your life. Welcome to Build with Rob. It's your boy Rob Dyrdek. Just out here living the highly optimized life. Just experiencing that magnetic energy, that high energy life that you just go from thing to thing all day, that you enjoy, and stack that all together. What is that? That's just happiness. Stack it all together, it's happiness. What are we all trying to do out here? We're just trying to be happy. How do we do that? Well, shoot, that means we would find joy in everything we do all day long. What is joy? It's the excitement and the energy that comes along with being fulfilled and having purpose and loving what we're doing. And how do we get there? We got to design that. We got to design our time. We got to get there, and then we've got to do the things that we want to do on an ongoing basis. But how do we even know if we even like it? Well, we've got to judge it in some way or another. And how I do that is qualitative data. And everyone that follows me and understands me has been hearing me talk about this qualitative data for years, because I talk about it all the time, I share the data all the time of look at my qualitative numbers and I can show you in numbers how much happier I am, and it's exciting for people and people try it and some people find success with it. Some people can't stay consistent. Some people have their sort of version of it. Some people rate themselves at such a way that it's basically pointless because they just are so happy with tracking. They're like another perfect day. They don't really use it to try to help them understand themselves better. And that's really at the core of what, when I say qualitative data, its use is. It really is about giving you insights to the things in your life based off of how they make you feel. And a lot of times, it ends up feeling like this big number and it's a number that's being tracked, but the number is less relevant as the insights that you get from asking yourself a qualitative question and then rating it on an ongoing basis. It's the consistency and the scale of it that actually creates the value, because it will reveal to you the same things end up popping up that bother you in those numbers. That's how you build qualitative awareness. And so, everybody it's open to interpretation because it's a very simple concept, right? It is, how do you feel about something 0 to 10? And you can literally apply it to every single thing in your life. And it doesn't matter what it is, and it will give you a deeper understanding based off of how you're feeling, what type of energy that you're feeling. And it's simple in concept, but I want to give everybody the framework that I use to think about when you apply this technique, just because, I think a lot of times there's sort of a gray area on how should I rate something and what does it actually mean and what are the differences and the numbers and the range. For me, I would like to share for those that are contemplating or currently using qualitative data to try to create sort of a baseline that can be super helpful, because I just, I love every single thing about qualitative data. it is just like this hidden gem that the world just doesn't use, and I preach about, and even the people I preach about closest to me, none of them do it. I really think it has a lot to do with the fact of like it's kind of hard to understand, and then ultimately its value is hard to really see without specifically making changes in your life and then seeing the numbers change, right? Because for me, since I've been collecting qualitative data about my life, work, and health, 0 to 10 since 2015, I know that the quality of my life is so much higher. I know how much change has happened and like how unthinkable this level of numbers are to me that I live in today from 2015. It's unbelievable. Even when I look back to 2020, that I thought was this remarkable year, how could I have possibly get to an even higher level? And I can see like a world where I just get to just peak level, but I still, even at high numbers, I still will have a down day and make a note that'll give me further insight to like another thing that I need to consider when I make an optimization in my time or my energy or my overall life. But what I want to do is talk to you about like how you should think about using qualitative awareness in your life. I believe that if you take this for example, this as simple as this. If you just look at your life like this, look at your life through a 0 to 10 range. And at 10, it is the highest energy, most fulfilled, so excited about the future, just had an extraordinary day. Every aspect of your life feels harmonious and in balance, and like you are excited about every single bit of your existence. That is what a 10 feels like, And then when you go down on the other side, the 0, that is when you are as empty as you could possibly be. You are just empty. The entire world, none of it makes sense, right? So that gets really easy to understand, right? You're at this very high energy, excited about the future. Everything's perfect. At the bottom, at 0, 1, you're down in this like you don't like anything in your life. That's essentially where I would consider depression. You're overwhelmed. You don't like your job. You feel unhealthy. You feel like you feel hopeless and nothing in the future is something that you're even excited about. That ends up being the big range. But where you're going to find the deeper insight is when you sit sort of in the neutral zone and hopeful versus half empty, right? And when you think about a 5, you think about it in this neutral zone where you're not bummed, you're not necessarily overly excited about the future and everything you're doing, but you're not in this place where you feel half empty and are picking apart all these different aspects of your life. It is the neutral zone, which again is, in my opinion, a great place to be, because you want to build a life that keeps you out of the 2, 3, 4 range. Because when you're neutral or you're 6, 7, 8, like you're in a hopeful place, and the higher you go up, the more excited you are. You want to get up the next day. You enjoyed the day. You're getting a feeling of progression, that you're moving forward in life. You're evolving. The things that you're excited about are coming alive and happening. When you think about the 5, it's almost like things are stagnating. And then, boy, when you get down into 2, 3, and 4, that is where the world is half empty. That's where the world is half empty. And to me, that is where the majority of your insight is going to come from, for the changes that you need to make in your life to get you back to neutral and eventually get you back into a positive place. Because, when you start asking yourself qualitatively every day how I feel about my life, and you rate it 0 to 10, and you just know that 5 is neutral, 6 and above is hopeful, and 4 and below is feeling hopeless, that your entire life can change by just continually trying to keep yourself neutral and above. And then when you get down to that hopeless state, ask yourself, why am I here? What happened in my life that got me here? That gives you the immediate insight that that is the thing that you need to change. And now if you do that on an ongoing basis and you see the same thing 2 or 3 times, that is all the motivation that you need to get that out of your life or make that change. And then guess what? That never shows up again, ever again. And that is the beginning of the process of using qualitative data to continually unearth these insights for the changes that you need to make that just make you feel better about your life. That is really how the entire structure of using the concept works. And it really, really works. Like I say it over and over again, and even though I track all these different versions of qualitative data in my life, I still think if every single person just did how they feel about their life as one number, if you just asked yourself every single day how I feel about my life 0 to 10, and you just made notes every time you felt low or notes every time that you felt high, and did more of the things that made you feel the higher numbers, and made changes for the things that were bringing your numbers down, that simple exercise will change your complete life. Because you will now, through how you feel, be given the clear knowledge and understanding of the things that if you change, you will make your life better. Which is just so hard to unearth by just living day to day and experimenting without some sort of insight or some sort of data point to point to. And it really, really works, and again, I do think that there is a lot of different ways to look at it. And, the more that you collect and the more you do it, the more refined it's going to be. I think when you break it up into life, health, and work, there's, how you feel about your health, like there's all these things that you can continue to do and that would make you feel better, whether that's working out or meditating or getting better sleep, whatever it may be. But you having that insight of how you overall feel of those 3 core categories, it at least creates the baseline that when you take action to make your life feel better, then you realize that, man, I just went 2 weeks and was like either neutral or half full in doing my qualitative data. You begin to see like, oh, wow, it's really working, because that's what you need. You ultimately need the ability to be motivated by something beyond just your willpower. You cannot continually use your will to make your life better. You need to be motivated by insight and understanding, so it's much more specific, so that you're making tactical choices of the things that you need to evolve, change, or learn to get to a higher level of energy, so that you lead yourself to a better life, rather than guess at all these different things and hope that if you just try harder to be happy and do things that you think are going to work, that it's just going to work out. When in fact, it ended up being something incredibly specific that you couldn't understand because you could never think about it and see it through all the clutter that's happening in your life as a whole. And that's the beauty of qualitative awareness. You're just using how you feel to unearth the insights that you can use to make the changes in your life to be happier. And then as you become happier and make the changes, the numbers begin to validate the changes that you made. That's what makes it so powerful over the long term, because then you get to look back and say, man, look what an amazing year I had. And then look how much happier I am today than I was 3 years ago, 5 years ago. And that's what I live in, and I bask in it. You know, I mean, you got to think, I'm in 2020, when I finally was able to look at all the numbers throughout the entire year, and then I correlated those numbers to committing to being, you know, my health discipline had a direct correlation on the quality of my life numbers. And then that deep commitment to that, like seeing that growth in those numbers, all it did was motivate me. It just motivated me to take it to an even more insane level, you know? And then, like, you know, after, you know, the full year of kind of being committed, and then, you know, finally ending up in this year where, what am I at this year? You know, the highest qualitative numbers I've ever had. And I'm still at 100% on all of my health stuff. Have not skipped not one day this entire way through. But I grew into that. Like, you know, all of that over time, but it all started with that qualitative data. And I'm telling you, if you do that simple concept of really using the scale of 0 to 10 to rate your energy and how you feel about the important things in your life that you can't necessarily quantify, and then you begin to look at that over the long term, and what are the things that you love about your life, and what are the things that bring you down, and make those changes, you are going to be a happier and happier person forever. Because you're going to clear out all the bad things and then understand the good things, which allows you to just continually optimize towards living a happier and happier, higher and higher energy life. And again, my friends, that is where the happiness is. You know, that is where the happiness is. And rather than just trying to continually guess and remember, oh, am I happy? Was I happy last week? Was I happier last year? Was I happier last month? Did I feel better? I think I've had a really good month. Like, you don't even understand a lot of times the quality of your life because it's too hard to remember, because you can only truly judge your energy in the present moment. And so by, you know, judging the quality of each day and having that insight is the only way that you can go back and look and fully understand how the quality of your life has been changing, higher or lower, and then be able to look at the world around you to gather the insight of why did that change happen. And because that's all it is at the end of the day is if you listen to a podcast like this, you're just hunting these little ideas on what can you apply to your system and your way of being that can just lead you to living in a space of higher and higher energy. Because that's really what it is. You know, like you're hunting happiness. But you got to be able to put a number to that happiness, to validate it for you, to keep you motivated, to keep you understanding yourself and continually optimizing your whole world towards that happiness in a qualitative number. Each day, 0 to 10, how you feel about your life is going to help you get there, short term and long term. till eventually we're all going to get to nothing but tens, and we're all going to be living in this just magnetic state of extraordinary existing, which I believe is possible in the future. I'm still pretty far away. You know, I still got a long way to go, but I do believe at one point I'm just going to be peak tens across the board, and then that's it. I'm just going to be like probably invisible, just radiating with just energy. Like you could barely even see me. You'll be like, there he is. And he's just radiating. I hope. I look forward to it. I do believe that's actually a possibility. Again, thank you for tuning in and being part of the journey. You know what it is. We're all just trying to optimize the machine that is us, getting better and better together forever. That's really what it's all about. And in order to do that, you got to be able to look out into the future. You got to live with intention, and you got to put in the work to get there. Until next time, see it, believe it, do it.